Today, we're going to be checking out a video from the channel called Rivian about cheap cars that are actually reliable, supposedly hidden gems most people overlook.
When the goal is avoiding breakdowns and unexpected repair bills, these cars deliver every single time.
This is 2026, and finding a car that's affordable, still around, and actually built to last feels nearly impossible. So we're going to see if this cheap, reliable car list is actually legit. And as usual, I'll be reading some of your comments in today's video. So if you want to be featured in the next one, definitely make sure to drop your experiences down below. What do you think is the most reliable car right now?
Cheap cars usually come with a warning label. You get what you pay for.
Yep.
Most of the time, that's true. Low prices often mean weak engines, endless warning lights, and garage bills that add up faster than the car's value. But here's the surprise. Not every cheap used car is a trap.
It's also true.
Some are absolute bargains that keep going for years, racking up mile after mile without draining your wallet. In this video, we're counting down 9 cheap cars that are actually reliable. No gimmicks, no fragile engines.
Quick disclaimer before we continue. Some of you guys might not recognize a few of these cars, and that's because this video is based and referring to cars in the UK. The reason we're looking at this video is because there's a lot of crossover between some Europe and UK cars and ones here in the States. If you live in Europe or something and you happen to know about the ones that we don't have here, feel free to let me know if he's right down in the comments below.
Just proven workhorses that can save you thousands over the long run. And we're starting with a Toyota that often gets overlooked in the shadow of its more famous sibling, the Corolla.
Oh yeah.
Number 9, Toyota Auris.
Never heard of it.
The Toyota Auris never had the glamour of its big brother. It wasn't the car you bought to impress your neighbors. But here's the secret.
It looks like a Prius.
Under that plain styling lies the same Toyota DNA that made the brand famous for reliability. The 1.6 petrol engine, in particular, is a gem. No fragile turbos, no complicated electronics.
Says Volvo across the top of the engine there.
Just a straightforward powertrain that shrugs off miles like it's nothing. Owners report Auris is comfortably passing 150,000 miles with nothing more than routine servicing, oil changes, filters, and maybe the occasional clutch. Timing chains last, gearboxes rarely fail, and suspension wear is minimal compared to rivals like the Ford Focus or VW Golf. Even better, parts are cheap, and because Toyota sold so many, any mechanic in the UK knows how to work on them. Depreciation has also been kind to buyers. You can pick one up for under £3,000, and unlike some bargain cars, it won't surprise you with a £1,500 repair bill the moment MOT season arrives. It's not flashy, but it's the kind of car you buy once and quietly keep for years.
Yeah. Whatever the Toyota Auris, I've never heard of that car before, but that certainly looks like a Toyota Prius and even possibly a little Corolla thrown in there. And those are two extremely reliable cars that I highly recommend. If you are looking for a cheap, used, reliable car, Toyota Corolla, Toyota Prius, they're amazing through and through. You do have to be somewhat careful because a few of the older model Toyota Priuses, I think like 2010, maybe even 2011, if not earlier, have like head gasket issues. But unlike other car brands, Toyota actually likes their work and is prideful of their work, and they fix the problems of the earlier generations in the newer generations. So just a couple of years later, the Priuses are like bulletproof. They fixed the head gasket issue, and I forget which year exactly, but they are solid freaking cars. You just can't go wrong, and you get, incredible gas mileage. I guess the one thing now, the hybrid Priuses, you might have to replace the hybrid system. They tend to fail 10 to 15 years later, and that's kind of right about now. And that might cost you 3 to 4K, but if you're handy, you can save a lot of money doing that yourself. Anywho, I wanted to show you guys this chart. I think it's perfect to start off with this. The most reliable used car brands in 2025. Or 2026 still applies based on the reliability of 5 to 10-year-old models, 2015 to 2020. And no brainer, number 1 is Lexus. Then we have Toyota. Then we have Mazda. Then we have Honda and Acura. So the top 5 most reliable cars are held by Japanese auto manufacturers. No surprises there. Surprisingly, Buick is in that list, which is interesting. I've heard this before, that Buick is decently reliable. You know, the general rule of thumb is stay away from all American cars. But if you're a patriot and you want an American car, definitely stick with Buick, because I have heard good things about them. Now, if you're between a Toyota and a Buick, always choose the Toyota, 9 times out of 10. We then have Volvo, Nissan. Surprisingly, Nissan is up there. I guess they're have some CVT problems all the time, transmission problems. Then you have Subaru, which also tends to have head gasket issues, I believe, and transmission issues. I think they use CVTs as well. We have Cadillac, Mercedes, BMW, Lincoln, Audi, Tesla, Volkswagen, Chevy, Ram, Ford, Kia, GMC, Hyundai, Mini, Dodge, and Jeep. I love how the American cars are ranked the worst. It's hysterical. I mean, this is a good rule of thumb chart to use. Like, if you're shopping in the car market and you know nothing about cars, this is a good starting point. Obviously, every car has their own unique issues, but an issue on a Jeep might cost you an arm and a leg, and an issue on the Toyota, you might be out like $100. And if you learn how to do it yourself, $50.
If the Auris proves Toyota's strength, the next car shows Honda's magic trick. A tiny hatchback that somehow manages to outlast cars twice its size. Number 8, Honda Jazz.
Honda Jazz.
The Honda Jazz is the kind of car people buy once and then stick with for life. It may look ordinary, even labeled a grandparent's car.
It does, but it looks like a Honda Fit. Is that not a Honda Fit? Interesting.
But its reliability record is anything but dull. The 1.4 petrol engine is almost unbreakable. Plenty of examples in the UK have passed 100,000 miles, with many still going strong beyond 200,000, often on their original engines and gearboxes. Its secret? Simplicity. No turbochargers, no fragile timing belts, just a naturally aspirated Honda engine built to last with basic maintenance. Clutches, gearboxes, and suspension components all hold up well, even after years of city driving and potholes. Add in Honda's clever magic seats, and the Jazz offers practicality far beyond its size. Families love it, older drivers trust it,
it's a tiny
and mechanics
car.
barely see them because they hardly ever break. It might not be stylish, but the Jazz proves that boring cars can be brilliant.
Yeah.
Cheap to run, tough as nails, and totally dependable.
Generally speaking, the more stuff, the more components, the more moving parts, the more problems you're going to have. So sticking with naturally aspirated engines that don't have turbos, that don't have superchargers, are usually more reliable than ones with. Same thing like transmissions, 5-speed transmissions versus like CVTs, which have a bunch of belts and pulleys and craziness. The transmissions usually are more reliable. I love the Honda Fit. I have several friends that I've known in the past that have had these cars, and they don't take care of them, and they're still bulletproof, which is crazy. What I have learned in the car world, and if you're shopping for a used car, the Japanese cars can take quite a beating before they actually break. I cannot say the same for German engineering. German engineering is so specific, such tight tolerances that a grain of sand could seize an engine, destroy the transmission, destroy your clutch, destroy your differential. But you could like submerge a Honda Fit or a Toyota Camry or like starve it of oil, totally fine. It'll keep trucking another 100,000 miles. You miss your Mercedes oil change by 5 miles, engine's going to fall out of the car. It's crazy how it works. I'm just going to say it. So if you want reliability, you stick with Japanese cars and you will be good 9 times out of 10. Now, I want to show you guys the Honda Fit here because I think this is interesting. And unfortunately, we live in such a consumer culture here in the United States that most people would probably walk before they got caught driving one of these cars. And we have an ego problem. We have a consumerism problem, and we have a personality problem. Most people identify themselves through materialistic stuff and wouldn't be caught dead in a Honda Fit. But if people learn to put their ego aside and stop caring, these are solid freaking cars that will just keep trucking along and take abuse and take a beating, and they'll treat you well. So when it comes to looking for these cars, a quick tip to finding used, reliable cars here. What I like to do, and it's crazy, I have this pulled up on cars.com, looking at the Honda Fit. It blows my mind now that a Honda Fit base model, cheapest of the cheap, with 100,000 miles on it is $10,000. That's a conversation for another video with the insane inflation that we have going on. Because this is, in my mind, like a $3,000 car. Whatever. If we can get past that, even at 100,000 miles, 10K, it's really not that bad. Now, you must start off by looking at the history of the maintenance, whether the Carfax, whether the owner has all the maintenance records, the oil changes and stuff like that. That's how you can really reassure yourself that you're buying a good car. If it has a lot of maintenance history, then the previous owner took care of it. And typically, if you can get the car to 100K, they probably did take care of it. Now, what I like to do to really sift through good, reliable cars is you go to highest mileage. Now, check this out. 2013 Honda Fit, 350,000 miles. 2009 Honda Fit, 287, 260,000, 260,000. Oh my gosh. 250,000, 233,000. I mean, these cars are probably solid. This tells you the owner took care of them. So, you think, 10K, I don't know, 100K miles, that's the end of its life. No, that's like 30K realistically on like another car, an Audi or something like that, 20,000 miles, because those really only last 100K and then they like blow up. But you can see how insane the mileage is on these. So if you find a nice clean one, like, you scroll through, some of these are 2019 and they still do make these Honda Fits, but you can get a solid deal. Like 2012, $6,400. You check over the car. If you're really close to buying it, you must get the car pre-purchase inspected. PPI, bring it to a trusted mechanic, put it on a lift, pay them $100, $200. It'll save you thousands. They'll look over the car. They'll tell you what's wrong with it. They'll tell you the owner what's wrong with it, whatever. And you can either negotiate the price much cheaper to get the work done, or if he gives you the all clear, you buy the car and you got a great car. $6,400, 130K miles. Proven history that this car will last 200, 300, 400,000 miles. So this is the way you shop. I don't want to gloat or anything, but I just want to show you guys the car that I have, which is a 2010 Mazda 3. I just want to show you the mileage history of that too. So check this out. Mazda 3, we go all the way to highest mileage. I mean, these are pulling up to another 250,000 miles, 250 easy. 250,000 easy miles. So this is another really, really, really solid Japanese car that I highly recommend. You take care of it, it will take care of you.
Next, a Japanese hatchback that rivals the Golf and Focus, but with far fewer headaches. Number 7, Mazda 3. The Mazda 3 is one of the UK's most underrated hatchbacks. It never sold in Golf or Focus numbers, but for used buyers that's a huge advantage. The 2.0 petrol Skyactiv engine is almost bulletproof.
That's hysterical.
No turbos, no...
So this is a fairly newer engine. I just want to let you guys know this. Like Mazda at some point decided they're done using... They used to use Ford. Like the 2010 Mazda 3s used to use believe it or not, a Ford engine and internals. You'll find a lot of Ford Motor Company written on a lot of parts. And then they said, all right, we're done with Ford. And they decided to make their own engine. The Skyactiv engine, non-turboed. Mazda's now messing around with turbos on their newer cars. Stay away from those. Just stick with the naturally aspirated engine and cars. These things are bulletproof. You would have to dump sand in the engine for it to blow up. Even then, I'd be doubtful.
No complex emissions kit. Just a naturally aspirated unit built to last.
Yep.
Many owners report passing 160,000 miles with nothing more than routine servicing. Better still, the Mazda 3 often costs less than a Golf or Focus of the same age, making it a bargain that quietly matches Toyota and Honda levels of dependability. And unlike many sensible buys, it's actually fun to drive. Sharp steering, well-balanced suspension,
100%,
and a lightweight feel make it one of the most enjoyable hatchbacks in its class. 100%. The only real caution is rust, which can creep in on older examples.
Yeah.
Mechanically, though, it's one of the toughest, most dependable cheap cars you can buy.
100%. That's a big tip, too. If you live near the Rust Belt, forget about it. It'll destroy cars. That 2010 Mazda 3 that I have, I've had to do so much maintenance and fixing and replacing stuff just because of the rust and the rot. That's not the car's fault. It's, New York salt that's destroyed and corroded the underbody of the car. But if you prep that, take care of that part, this car will outlive you. It's incredible. Even their newer ones are amazing. The new Mazda 3s, the new Mazda CX-5s, not the newest one. I can't stand the 2026 version. They ruined it. They dropped the ball. But the previous versions of those with the Skyactiv engines, they are phenomenal. Naturally aspirated, they will last so freaking long. Now, he compared them to a Golf and some other car. The reason it's a problem is because the Volkswagen Golf, GTI, Golf R, they're intended for a different use. Those are made to be more sporty, faster. And when you do that, then you start messing around with direct injection stuff, and then you start getting problems. You have to replace timing chains, you got carbon buildup, then you start having issues. The Mazda was intended to be somewhat more luxurious now. They're carving a new niche in the market, but they're also meant to be reliable. Mazda still cares about their customers, unlike a lot of other brands. Anywho, I wanted to read a couple of comments that you guys had left on previous New Car Insanity episodes. Highly recommend you check those out if you haven't already. And if you want to be featured in the next episode, drop a comment down below. One thing people forget when buying a used car is you need to also do your research on it. If the car was a luxury $90,000 vehicle when new or was a special performance edition variant, the maintenance will always be for a vehicle that was $90,000 or that special performance variant. Brilliantly said. I love it. And that's what people tend to forget. Cheap Audis and cheap BMWs and cheap Mercedes. What people don't realize is those at one point had price points and MSRPs of $80,000, $90,000, $120,000. You will still have $120,000 problems, even though the car is worth $15,000. There's a reason it's depreciated that low, because the parts to replace that stuff with are a fortune. And there are so many more gadgets and gizmos and doodads in the car. It's going to be one thing after the other, breaking and breaking and breaking. It'll all start completely falling apart on you. Trust me, I know. I have a second channel where I like to tinker and fix used cars and old cars and new cars. And I specifically like working on the German ones because it's harder. And old Mercedes break consistently and the parts cost you thousands of dollars. Don't do it. Trust me, save your money and pick something else.
Next, we head to a British favorite, the Ford Focus. But beware, not every version is reliable.
I was just about to say, because Fords nowadays, no offense, are trash. Earlier versions are much better. As I said, the early Mazda, the one that I have, 2010 Mazda 3, uses a Ford engine in it, and those are pretty good.
Number 6, Ford Focus. The Ford Focus has been a British bestseller for years. Practical, fun to drive, and cheap to own. But not all engines are equal.
Yep.
The later EcoBoost versions are infamous for coolant leaks and overheating, leaving owners with huge repair bills.
Oh, yeah.
The older 1.6 naturally aspirated petrol, however, is a hidden gem. It's simple, durable, and doesn't rely on fragile turbos or complex fuel systems.
100%.
With regular servicing, these Focus models often cruise well past 200,000 miles without major issues. Timing belt jobs are straightforward, and replacement parts are everywhere thanks to the car's huge sales numbers, keeping costs low when something does wear out. The only real downside is age. Most surviving examples now have high mileage, so a solid service history is a must.
True.
But find a well-looked-after one, and you've got a Focus that's far tougher and more dependable.
This literally is my engine. Now, conveniently, the later models of this variant have timing chains, so you don't have to worry about timing belts, so it essentially lasts the life of the engine. But this is a carbon copy of the engine bay of a 2010 Mazda 3. The same exact coolant reservoir, the same exact, motor mounts. And, I wouldn't be surprised if this is a Mazda. Like the same airbox and the same exact valve cover. Everything is identical. My Flex isn't an expensive car. It's a paid off car. Yeah, seriously, like if you're going to be buying any car, please do yourself a favor and save up for it cash and then go out and buy it. The last thing you want to do, especially with used cars, is have a car payment and then have to have a, maintenance repair at the same time, or a repair, because having both at the same time, it's going to set you back. So save up a little bit so that you can buy the car cash, and then save up a little bit as well, set aside maybe $1,000 a year or something in a spare emergency fund to go towards repairs just in case you have a problem with the car.
Number 5, Hyundai i30. the Hyundai i30.
All right, so we don't have a Hyundai i30. Maybe this is a Sonata or something. So I'm going to skip past this car because we don't have it. And a rule of thumb with Hyundais, all their newer ones, for the most part, are junk. I will say, however, I have seen a fair bit of much older Sonatas still on the road today from 2010, 11, 12, 13. Surprisingly, those are still kicking with over 100, 150,000 miles, surprisingly. Or maybe not, but their newer ones, stay away from.
Next, we shrink things down to a super mini. The Suzuki Swift might look small and playful, but under the...
Again, another car we've never had here in the States. We have had Suzukis, I believe. This is way beyond my time. I'm only 27 years old. I think there are a few still around and kicking, but they don't make them anymore here. So if you have these in the UK, are they reliable? Let me know down in the comments below.
Next, we step up to a slightly larger hatchback from South Korea. The Kia Ceed might not look exciting, but with its long warranty and bulletproof engines, it's become a dealer favorite and a smart...
So again, this is another car that we do not have here in the States. I'm trying to think if it looks like a Kia Forte. I don't want to say Kia Rio. I don't even know if those exist. I might be making something up, but that vaguely comes to mind. Maybe a Kia Forte. And the thing with Kias is, just like Hyundai, stay away from any of the newer ones. I would honestly think maybe anything past 2015 is a red flag. 2016 is a red flag. Definitely 2020, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, steer clear of them. They might look nice on the outside, but they are junk. They did a really good job at masking up and putting makeup on something that is literally absolutely terrible, and you'll be in the shop more than you'll be driving it. What comes to mind, crazy, is do you guys remember Kia's old commercial with the hamsters dancing and stuff like that for the Kia Soul? Again, a car I would steer clear from. However, I have seen a lot of older ones still on the road in like lime green. They're still kicking. Now, I do know that they have a fair share of issues, but they are still around. They burn oil like crazy. They drink it. Like you'd be surprised to make it a 5,000 miles before having to put another, 2 or 3 quarts back into the engine. But otherwise, they are still around. Just, proceed with caution when buying some of those older Kias. So now that a lot of electric cars are getting older, some of you guys might be considering buying them or are curious about them. And here is my tip for you, my advice. Just like a phone battery, like this guy says, an EV battery will charge up less and less and less each cycle. Imagine buying a gas car that over a period of 10 years, your gas tank gets smaller and smaller. And remember, these Tesla you want to buy that you're considering at one point was a $70,000 car. When that battery goes, it is going to cost you 20 grand to replace. $15,000, whatever. It is huge. It is massive. It needs to be dropped out and swapped in. It is very labor intensive. There's special equipment required. Steer clear of it. Certain hybrids are a much better alternative, specifically ones that are not like plug-in hybrids, more of the regenerative braking ones, RAV4s, the Prius, not the Prius Prime, even the CX-50 hybrid, the new one. Those, the batteries are inside the cabin, under the back passenger seats. Much easier to replace those yourself and work on, so it's cheaper to repair. Remember, a 10-year-old gas tank that holds 30 gallons to go 300 miles will still get you 300 miles 15 years later. Tesla battery once might have gotten you 300 miles, might now only get you 200. 150. Batteries lose their charge as they age, and they can hold less and less power. So just for some clarity, because some of you guys might not even realize this, I wanted to show you the 14 car companies that control pretty much all the cars in the market. Hyundai owns Kia and Hyundai, so that's why when I talk about one bad, they're usually both. GM has the ones that we know: Chevy, Cadillac, GMC, Buick. GM, for the most part, stay away from, even if Buick is somewhat reliable. We don't have Renault. I've never heard of Tata, but Tata seems to own Land Rover and Jaguar, so I can only think Tata cars are terrible too. Stay away. Toyota, Lexus, Daihatsu. Beautiful, amazing cars. Ford, stay away from. Mercedes-Benz owns Smart Car. Stay away from those. Very expensive. FCA owns Fiat, Maserati, Lancia, Alfa Romeo. Italian cars, notorious for problems. Stay away from them. FCA also owns Ram, Dodge, Jeep, Chrysler. Junk cars, stay away. Nissan, Infiniti, and Nissan. Infinitis are 50-50. I would stay away from Nissans as well. Lots of transmission issues. Honda Acura, those are great. PSA we don't have. BMW Group, Mini, BMW Rolls-Royce. This is an interesting one. The older models used to be terrible or are terrible. The newer ones, believe it or not, it's still very expensive to maintain and repair when they do have issues, but they have become a lot more reliable, especially the B58 and S58 engines. They have been doing good things. They are still expensive though, so you have to treat them like a luxury car too. I wouldn't get them if I'm trying to, save money and skate by. Geely owns Volvo. Okay. Volkswagen Group is hit or miss too. Audi, going to be expensive. Skoda, Seat, Bugatti, Bentley, I would stay very far away from. Porsche and Lamborghini are, believe it or not, are very reliable cars, but just like BMW, when they do break, when they do need service, when they do need maintenance, it is going to be expensive. And Volkswagen is hit or miss, and lots break, lots of plastic. I'd kind of stay away from those two unless you want to pay to play.
Number 1, Toyota Yaris. If there's one small car that's built an almost legendary reputation in the UK, it's the Toyota Yaris. The 1.3 petrol version, in particular, has proven itself to be one of the toughest city cars money can buy. Simple, durable, and engineered with Toyota's trademark reliability, these cars just refuse to die. Owners frequently report Yaris models surpassing 170,000, even 220,000 miles, with nothing more than routine servicing.
Yep.
The naturally aspirated 1.3 engine is bulletproof.
That's why.
No turbos to blow.
Yep.
No complex emission systems to clog.
Yep.
And no fragile electronics to ruin your day.
Beautiful.
Even at high mileage, they keep running smoothly, often outlasting rivals that cost far more to buy and maintain. At MOT time, Yaris models shine. Failure rates are consistently below the national average for small cars, with most faults limited to wear and tear items like tires, bulbs, or brake pads.
Sure.
Suspension holds up well, emissions stay clean, and parts, when needed, are cheap and readily available.
True.
That's why so many older Yaris models are still on the road today, still starting first time every morning. The best part? Because they don't carry the same hype as some rivals, used prices are reasonable. A well-kept Yaris might not turn heads on your driveway, but it'll save you thousands over the years in avoided repairs.
100%.
The Toyota Yaris proves what this entire list is about.
That's a
reliable
good car.
Doesn't always mean boring.
Yep.
It means freedom from breakdowns, surprise bills, and the constant worry of what might go wrong next. So, there you have it. 9 cheap cars that are actually reliable. From the bulletproof Toyota Auris to the long-lasting Honda Jazz, these models prove you don't need to spend a fortune to drive something dependable. They might not be flashy, they might not set your pulse racing, but when the goal is avoiding breakdowns and unexpected repair bills, these cars deliver every single time. And remember, the used car market is full of so-called bargains that are actually money pits waiting to happen.
Yeah.
The cars we've covered today are the opposite. They're the hidden gems, the safe bets, the ones mechanics secretly respect. Buy smart, and you'll not only save money up front, but you'll also save yourself years of headaches down the road. Because at the end of the day, when it comes to cheap used cars, it's not about what looks the best. It's about what lasts the longest. And these 9 models prove that sometimes boring really is brilliant.
It is. 1,000%. If you agree with this chart, let me know in the comments. If you disagree with the cars that he mentioned, let me know in the comments. If he's missing something, I want to hear about it. I would like us to inform each other and help each other out as to what to steer clear of, what to avoid, as well as cars we should even consider. Cheap, reliable, good cars. And I would think maybe below 10, 15K at this point here. I think that's a good, reasonable price to be looking for a good, used, cheap, reliable car. You could still get a Mazda 3. You can still get the Honda Fit for well below $10,000. And obviously, the more money you put in, the more miles you buy. Anywho, I wanted to read one last comment for you guys before I dip out of here. By the grace of God, I just paid off my $15,000 car today. I am never, ever getting another car payment in my life. It is the worst thing ever. It keeps you poor. Listen to this man's advice and stay away from car payments. I understand if you have to, It's okay. Use it as a tool and pay it off as fast as possible and own your car outright. It is an amazing feeling. Stay away from being in debt and owing to others. It is not a good idea. Save up if you can for cash for that next car. Buy it outright. Set a little aside for maintenance, and you will very quickly be on the road to financial freedom and save a lot of money. Guys, that's going to be it for today's video. Hopefully you liked this episode. If you guys want to see similar videos like this, let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. And if you guys haven't seen my previous video on cars were built to fail, specifically European cars and what they're doing to try to scam and screw everyone, definitely stick around right after this. Peace.